Hey there everyone, it's Sarah Daly, your Kids Small Group Coordinator. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes here to go through some training policies and procedures and just kind of general good to know information for you guys as we gear up for our first night of Kids Small Groups on March 12th. First of all, thank you so much for being willing to volunteer with us. I'm so excited that you guys are going to be leaders with us for Kids Small Groups, and if you have any questions, especially after this video, please feel free to reach out to me directly. You can either respond to this email or you can just give me a call on my cell phone. I'll make sure that that number is in the email that I send to you that this video is going to be embedded in. So let's get down to it with all of your good to know information for Kids Small Groups. So first of all, what is it? Well, Kids Small Groups is very similar to Awanas, like you've probably heard me say before, where it is a discipleship focused small group curriculum for preschool through elementary age students. All of you, in your email, I will include specifically which grade level you're going to be working with. But in a nutshell, if you're doing preschool, you're focusing on the Old Testament. If you're doing kindergarten and first grade, you're focusing on the New Testament. And then if you are doing second through fourth grade, we don't have any fifth graders registered this year. So if you're doing second through fourth grade, you're focusing on 101, which is the first part of growth track. It's basically spiritual maturity, teaching your the students that you have in your group about what it means to be a Christian, what it means to have a relationship with Jesus Christ, how to actually use their Bibles, how to look up a Bible study verse, how to apply that verse to their life, and then kind of like your basic tenets of Christianity 101, like what does it mean to be baptized? What does it mean to be saved? Why do we take communion? Things like that. So that's our overall focus of 101. If you choose to stay with us next year and do Kids Small Groups again in the fall, then you'll actually stay with that same group of students that you're already with and loop up to the next grade level with them, which means you'll loop up to the new curriculum with them. So for preschool, if you're with them, you'll go into kindergarten. We'll focus on New Testament. If you are currently with a group of students in second through fourth grade, you'll loop up to the next year and do 201 with them. If you're currently with a group of first graders, when you loop up to second grade with them, you'll actually do 101. So we'll introduce a new step of growth track each year as they go along. So should be really awesome. Very excited to have these students go through a more longer, like more, I don't want to say intense necessarily, but more intense version of growth track than what their parents are going through just on a regular Sunday if they're doing growth track with us. So yes, that is Kids Small Group in a nutshell. Just wanted to go over a couple of handy little policies and procedures with you as being a new member of our Dream Team. When you come on the 12th, I'm going to give you a paper copy of our Dream Team policies and procedures just so that you have those handy to be able to refer back to as the year goes on. And I'm actually going to have you sign for me the last page of this policies and procedures sheet, which looks like this. It's just basically like our volunteer commitment, so I'm going to have you sign off on that. If you've done this already for either Park Valley Elementary or Park Valley Early Childhood, you don't need to do it a second time. But if you are only serving with me in Kids Small Groups, then this will be something that I'm going to need you to do on the 12th when you show up for our first night. So first night, I need everyone here between 6 and 6:15 if possible. The kids will get here around 6:30, and we're all going to meet in the auditorium for our very first night together. We'll do about 15 minutes of worship, so that'll conclude. We'll start worship around 6:45. We'll end it around 7 o'clock, and then that's when you'll go off to your classrooms for your small group time with your kiddos. I'll have the assignments, the room assignments for you included in this email as well. So you're going to know which grade level you're with and which room you're in within the email that you get from me that this video is embedded in. Then for the rest of the night, for the last hour from 7 to 8, you'll actually go through the curriculum itself. So I've included a link in this email to a Dropbox location where you can access all of your curriculum at once. However, I'm also going to send you a weekly email on Thursdays that includes a video walkthrough of what your curriculum is going to look like for that week, as well as an actual attached file of a PDF with your week's lesson embedded there. Just so that you know, you don't have to print those out every week. I will have it waiting for you here at the church on Tuesday night when you come. But I do want you to be reviewing it over the weekend so that you're familiar with, hey, what is this story even going over? Are there any questions that the kids might ask me that I need to be aware of ahead of time? And just have a general understanding of what your night is going to look like before you get here on a Tuesday. So in general, the way that our weeks are set up, you'll get a curriculum guideline that looks like this, that has pretty much it all broken out for you, you know, kind of hour by, or not hour by hour, but chunk by chunk of what you'll be doing during your time together. You'll start with an activity like a coloring sheet that you'll go over for the first 15 minutes before all of your kids get there. Then at 7 p.m. we'll all go down to the auditorium together to do our worship. Or I'm sorry, at 6:45 we'll do that. Worship ends at 7. You'll go back to your room, and that's where you'll go into your actual Bible story with your kiddos, or the specific lesson that you have. Like for 101, you guys are going over how to find a Bible verse, so you're going to do that with them. Then you'll have a memory verse that you'll go over together. After the memory verse, you'll have snack. Every week I'm probably going to do something like popcorn that's very allergy friendly. A lot of you have some kiddos in your rooms that are allergic to life. And it seems like popcorn is one of the most allergy friendly snacks there is. So I'll have that for you, as well as some water. And then there's a game or a workbook activity, and then you'll wrap it up with your discussion, and then send the kids on their way. So speaking of dismissal, you're going to wait for the parents to come to the room, and they will pick their child up from the room directly. If you serve with us on a Sunday, or if you have kids that are in the program, our dismissal procedure is very similar to how it is on a Sunday morning or a Saturday night. Each kid will have a name tag, and on that name tag there's going to be a number or a series of numbers and letters combined. When the parent comes to pick up their kid, you'll take the name tag off of the kid. You'll look at the name tag, or you'll look at the code that the parent has on their name tag. You'll match them, and then you will give that kid to their parent. There are a few kiddos who have parents who are actually serving with us, so they're probably just going to hang out in the room with you until their parent is done and their room has completely emptied. So just be aware that you might have a few stragglers, but generally the parents should have come and picked up their kids by 8 p.m. By the time it's all said and done, it'll probably be around 8:10, and then once you've cleaned up your area, you are free to go. We are going to have a brief moment of prayer at 6:15 every week, just to make sure that we are starting off the night on the right foot, inviting the Holy Spirit to come in and make the path smooth in front of us, that our kids have the right attitude and mindset as they come in, and that we have the right attitude and mindset as we're coming in to teach these kids every week. So that'll happen at 6:15. But once your kids have left around 8, once the last kid is left, probably around 8:10, you can clean up, and like I said, you're good to go. We're not going to have any post meetings unless something comes up and I let you know ahead of time that, hey, we're going to need to meet for like 5 minutes after. But I should not be having that with you guys, so that you're able to just get on the road and get home at a decent hour on a Tuesday night. So our policies and procedures, I'm going to go ahead and go over these. In general, we have a Dream Team honor code that essentially says that as volunteers on our Dream Team, we want to live a life that is above reproach. We want to live a life that, or that we are trying to live a life that exemplifies and exhibits behavior that is in line with Christ and his teachings. As Christians, we know that we're saved because of God's extravagant grace and love, which is exemplified by Jesus' sacrifice for us on the cross. And this in itself has to guide and flavor every interaction we have with others and our view of ourselves at all times, if possible. Our conduct should exemplify a life that's committed to Christ and his kingdom. And this includes regular time in fellowship with other Christians, worship, Bible study, prayer, and serving others. We also, as Dream Team members, make a commitment to refrain from prideful behavior, dishonest gain, indulging in too much wine or alcoholic beverages, illegal drugs, dishonesty, sexual immorality, and all behaviors which might cause Christ to grieve and others to stumble. So that's our general honor code as members of the Dream Team here at Park Valley Church. There's a couple of things that are going to be good for you to know. First of all, we have a never alone policy with the students in our groups. I know some of you, you may have kids that are coming to your classroom, not kind of all at once, but in onesie twosies. So if you don't have a co-leader in your room with you before, or as students are coming to you, if you only have one student that comes in, you're going to want to kind of wait in the hallway with that student until another student comes, and then you can have a group of 3. And then, or you can even ask the parent to hang out until the next student comes, and then you can have a group of 3 in that room. Most of you do have a co-leader, but I do have 1 or 2 groups that don't have a co-leader lined up for you just yet. So that's our never alone policy. We just try and always think and act and do things in groups of 3 as much as possible. Our ride policy. As kid leaders, we have a policy that you're not giving rides to students. If we have a kid that is late being picked up or something like that by their parent, we'll have them wait out in the lobby with me. But we have a pretty strict policy that we're not giving rides home to students. If you have a previous relationship with a family where you are regularly giving that student rides home, and you have your own kids that are in the car with you and things like that, then that is a situation that we can work out on a case-by-case basis. But generally, we're not giving rides to students or to kids that are in elementary and preschool, unless they are our own kids. Outside events, the packet here for Park Valley Elementary says that we're not planning outside events for the kids in our small groups, which is generally true. The only exception in our case with kids small groups would be if you're doing like an outreach activity with your small group, which is something that I'm going to be encouraging you guys to do, that you're doing an active service with your group. That is the only exception to this rule. Generally, we're not scheduling like hangout events with kids that are in Park Valley Elementary, kids that are with us here in kids small groups, unless we're inviting the entire family. So if you wanted to do like an end of year barbecue with your group and you have their parents coming too, that's definitely fine. And like I said, I do want you to schedule some kind of an outreach activity with your group, which again, I would encourage that you're bringing their whole family in on that situation. But generally, we're not having outside events like hangouts, as I said, with our kids small groups. Our appropriate touch policy, it's pretty simple. There are definite places on a child that we are not touching. Anywhere that would be covered by a bathing suit is a place that we are not touching at all. Generally, when it comes to touching a student, we like high fives, we like pats on the back, we like side hugs here at Park Valley Church. We love verbal praise. You don't have to, touch a student physically to make them feel safe and cared for. You can use words of affirmation. You can sit beside them and you can hold their hands during prayer and you can pat their head. But generally, any other sort of lengthy physical interaction with our students outside of those examples are a no-go. We're not kissing our students. We're not holding them in our laps. We're not touching their knees or their legs or doing any kind of tickling. No wrestling, no piggyback rides, no hugs from behind or any kind of massage. It's just creepy. No form of unwanted affection. So if a student has said, I don't want a hug, we're not forcing a hug onto our students. And we're also not complimenting them in any way that would cause them to be uncomfortable or call specific attention to their particular body makeup. We're not complimenting them on, their body image or anything like that. Procedure for reporting abuse or neglect. If you notice that you have a student in your group who seems to be experiencing abuse, you want to report that to me as soon as possible, and then I will go through the proper channels to ensure that the child is safe and that it is reported if necessary. For abuse, if we suspect it, it is a time-sensitive thing, so you want to make sure that you report it to me as soon as possible, and then by reporting it to me, you've pretty much released yourself from having to do anything further. Like I said, myself or Justin, our family pastor, will kind of move forward with whatever the next steps are, and if child services needs to be if it needs to be reported to child services or that kind of thing. And it should remain confidential. If you see or hear that a student is being abused, that's not something that you're then going to go around and tell the rest of the people in your life. It's just to be reported to me, and then, as I said, I'll take care of the next steps. Texting and social media. With our elementary and preschool kids, we're not texting with them. But what you could do is have a texting relationship with their parents or an emailing relationship with their parents. We actually highly encourage that you are emailing their parents regularly, giving them a weekly update of, hey, this is what we talked about in small groups last week. This is our memory verse for the current week. This is how you could be encouraging your child to do their quiet time each night, to be actively trying to live out their faith. These are some conversation starters that you could have with your children to talk to them about what they learned at group this past week. Those are the kinds of relationships that we really want you to foster with the parents, because if the parents see how invested you are in the life of their child, especially when it comes to their spiritual life, then the more buy-in we have from that family, and we know that they're going to be coming back week after week, and we know that that's a relationship that parent can feel safe and confident in with you as their child's small group leader. So we definitely want to encourage that you're building that relationship with the parent in addition to with the student, but we're not building a relationship with our students through any kind of texting or social media at this age. That's something that's more for middle school and high school, and not with elementary and preschool. Last thing is photography. We're not taking pictures of our students. If there's some reason that I would like pictures to be taken, like if we're promoting groups for the following year, then I will have Carl, our resident photographer, or myself go around and take some promotional video and pictures. But you as the leader are to refrain from taking pictures of your students, especially taking pictures of them and posting them somewhere without their permission. If a parent wants to see what's going on, then you can arrange that with the parent to take a picture and text it to their child, but we're not taking pictures and posting them to any major social media outlets, unless it is, like I said, part of a promotional thing that we have prior permission of for the students in that group. One last thing that I want to make sure you guys are aware of, especially the preschool leaders, is our bathroom policy. We're going to have a hall monitor who can bring kids back and forth from the bathroom to your classroom. You are not, as a leader, you're not going into the bathroom or anything with the student, especially with preschool. We'll have that bathroom monitor who can assist the child if necessary, but the only area where we are allowed to assist a child using the restroom is like clothing fixes. If they've got their shirt tucked into their pants, you can untuck it. If they need help buttoning their pants, if they're in preschool, we can help with that. If they need help reaching the soap or something like that to wash their hands, we can do that, but then the door stays open for the bathroom. But our bathroom monitors will be taking care of that for us. If you have a kiddo that needs to use the restroom, then we'll just have you radio someone to come and grab the kid to take them down to the bathroom, or you can send them in a group of 2 to go and use the restroom together. Again, it's also part of our never alone policy that a kid's not wandering the hallways when they should be in that small group time with you. When parents arrive, they're going to be checking their child in. So like I said, they will have that name tag when they come to you. If you have a kid who comes to you without a name tag and their parent has already left, then you can radio me and I can get that name tag for the student. We want to make sure that we have an accurate count of our attendance, and then we also want to make sure that we have those name tags to ensure safety at pickup, that we have the right person picking up each student. So speaking of radios, I know I've referenced this a couple of times. You're going to have radios in each room that are going to be tuned to a specific channel already. It'll be channel 3. If it's not tuned to channel 3, then you can just turn the little knob on the top and have it there. But I will be accessible on channel 3 all night long. If you have a problem that you need assistance with, then you can just hop on the radio and let me know. If there is information that I need to get to you guys as quickly as possible, then I will radio you. So you're going to want to make sure that you have your radio on with you and turned up all night long, so that if there's an emergency, you can be made aware of it as quickly as possible. But as I said, you can very quickly reach me on that radio if you have an issue, and I will do my best to make sure that it's taken care of as quickly as possible. So your support group on a Tuesday night would be me. And then we also have Adam Dove, who is our worship leader, who will be available after worship in the hallway if you have an issue. And then I will also have 1 or 2 other adult volunteers who are available in the hallways if you have a problem. So we'll always have someone waiting upstairs in that hallway area, and then have someone downstairs as well. In addition to that staff, we will also have a security presence on a Tuesday night. It's just a part of our Watchman Park Valley Security Ministry. We won't have a separate Prince William County cop or anything like that here like we do on a Sunday or a Saturday night. But we will have security. So if you have, any sort of an issue and I am not readily available, you can always ask the resident security person to help you as well. So those are just some general good to know policies and procedures. As I said at the beginning of the video, I will have you sign off on those, that you've watched the video and that you understand them when we come on March 12th. I cannot wait to have you join us. I'm so excited again to be kicking off this inaugural kids small group, and that you get to be a part of it. If you have any questions after this video, again, just send me an email, give me a ring on my cell phone, or send me a text, and I'm more than happy to get to that and answer those questions that you have. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you on March 12th. Thanks for listening, and have a great evening. Bye.